my eye, I'm like, yo, chat's going so fast. Like, what happened? I look over, everyone's like, music's too loud, Don. Anyways, yo, chat. I have this yellow line marked up here, right? Before I came to the stream. And I'm gonna explain to you guys why AirPod giveaway because of damages. All right. I'm gonna explain to you guys why I have it here. Keep things short. That's roughly where I'm looking to tap into first, but I'm gonna explain it while doing the analysis right now. So let me just send the Zoom link first, and then we'll do the breakdown. Okay. You know what sucks? That's the chat. The people who weren't with Blueberry and got slipped. Not slipped, but they got, you know, spreads kind of got them yesterday. 3 pips. All right, link's been sent. How did you join so fast? I just sent the link. How are there already people in the Zoom? I just literally clicked enter. Wow. I'm impressed. Right, recording stream. Okay, got recording. All right, we're good now. So, chat. We got a couple things we can look for today. Obviously, you have news CPI 830. So I'm just trying to see. During the analysis, it was set to make more sense to me. I honestly have no idea what's going on right now. So every time I come to the streams, you know, whenever I don't know what's going on, I have to do the analysis, right? So because that's what gets the brain flow, and that's what gets I guess like that's what kind of, because as you do the analysis from like the higher time to a lower time frame, and you look for like the same sort of concepts on every time frame, things have to kind of click for you in terms of the analysis, right? It starts to add up. Like you'll see that the 4 starts to add up with the higher time frame and with the 15, 30 minute, all that good stuff. So it's just about dropping down time frames here. So like I'm trying to see what news, how we can incorporate news into today's analysis, and what's gonna happen before news or prior to news here. So I think today they are expecting numbers to be good, right? So both photos are expecting to be good. If numbers do come out good, then we should continue to pop down. Let's talk about the monthly time frame real quick, because you have like 20 days left. So obviously, just for your refresher, you haven't closed below the range yet. Price is still in this range area from basically here. It's here, so I'll say here, right? This is the range you're in. So obviously you close bullish here at resistance, never closed above the range, indicating that you likely aren't to continue up just yet, at least. And you haven't closed bearish respecting resistance yet. This candle is still open. You have 20 days left, and given point, this candle can come up and create a top wick and retest the highs at 2000, because that's where the wick fill is as well, right? So you're likely going to see this happen this month before price decides on where it wants to go next, because once you get a top wick and you reflip, cool, at that point this is how the candle is going to look. And if you end up closing like this for the monthly, then next month's going to be a pretty algo month to continue down, right? But this month is more of like that indecision month, where price is sort of just picking its direction for the next months to come. The weekly time frame is coming down, obviously. You're coming down, you're retesting the lows. I would assume yesterday that if price were to reject on the weekly, it would have done it yesterday with CPI, that move we had at the end of the day that we took, right? But it never did that. It just came back down to retest the lows and continue to pop down. So we're still at the support level. Depending on how we close this today, especially how CPI numbers come out, that should give you sort of direction for how the weekly closes. Because like if numbers come out good today and gold continues to pop down, then there's a high chance that the weekly is going to close below the range, and it's going to look something like this, right? If you close below the range, we're doing basically what these candles to the left here couldn't do, which is close below. All these candles rejected. So you close below, looking left, you're gonna have clean traffic until the next minor support, and that next minor support is down here next week, right? 1870. So the monthly could end up breaking the weekly lows. There's a possibility, but again, it comes down to how numbers come out today, comes down to how we close today. We have 9 hours left. You may have an algo day, you may not, right? The daily time frame today is pretty, like, I mean, you close bearish at the bottom of the range, I guess you can say you close like overall, you're still respecting these levels to the left here. So price hasn't closed below there, but I would assume that you'll come down to retest the lows before making its decision on where it wants to go next. Well, there's a possibility, but I'm looking left there. I'll say you should expect at least a tap into 1910 before price decides on where it wants to go next. So I want to see if numbers can come out and push price down towards 1910, because you can have a possibility like yesterday as well, where numbers came out, price spiked down with the numbers, and then price obviously flipped after, and sort of just went the other way after, right? Like sort of like a whipsaw, or not whipsaw, sort of like a fake out, right? So the reason why I'm expecting the price to retest the lows is because you have range here that you haven't tapped yet. You came close, right? You were like 1910, 1911 basically, 10 pips away. But it's not about how many pips were away. It's about like actual, like, you know, levels, like real levels that we're tapping. So look, this level that we came down, we never tapped it. I would assume that before price makes a decision on where it wants to go next in terms of bullish or bearish, it's got to retest the lows here, because it's very rare where if price were to correct this entire move here to retest the highs at 1980, or even like, what is this, 1960, you're anywhere above these zones here, right? If price were to retest those highs, it's gotta grab a lot of liquidity. It's gotta form structure. It's not just gonna reverse on price like this unless you have news or something, right? But it's very rare where you get something like this. Very rare, like very rare, man. So the reason why I want to retest the lows is because the daily, right, obviously has no bottom wick. You come down and retest the lows, and then if you go in a smaller time frame, I'll show you guys why it makes sense. So just hold that thought for a second. Drop down to the smaller time frame here. The 4-hour time frame shows you that we are bullish as well. You're gonna see here that the 4-hour has no bottom wick, and this is like the motion printing, right? So if price were to drive up today, because like look, your next 4-hour resistance is where now? Your next 4-hour resistance is at 1926.664, right? So if that's your next 4-hour resistance, you can go ahead and draw a line right here, right? Draw a line right there, and you can say, okay, well, your support down here is at 1912.434. This is the range you're in, right? So if price were to continue to pop up towards 1927, I would assume that you will see the retest of the lows tapping like 1910 before price makes its way up to retest the highs, right? You're gonna notice that every time we were at the bottom of the range here, before price made a decision on where it wanted to go next, it came down to at least tap into these levels here, right, before making its way up. So I'll expect us to re-break the lows here and sort of print something like this, right? You see how price has support here, and then it came down to re-break the lows, and then price started to close back into the ranges. The reason why it's doing that is because it's grabbing liquidity. It's grabbing liquidity / it's giving you that fake on a smaller time frame, right? So that's why if you were to kind of like, you know, re-break the lows and then flip bullish, that's your indication that we're going to head back up. So our entries could be anywhere today from literally 1910 to like 1918 towards 1927. It can be in those ranges, right? Because we could get a wick entry, but then again, depending on the situation, we can end up having a flip instead, and the flip is at 1918 or even like 1912, right? But I don't know. But I would assume that you will come down to retest the lows first before price makes a decision on where it wants to go next, because it could pop up first and then continue down. There's a possibility, right? But the reason why I'm saying it's gonna likely break the lows before making a decision is because, again, that daily bottom wick, right, and that daily support. So yeah, that is that, right? So you're likely gonna have this. If you want me to explain to you guys, like basically what that is on a smaller time frame is like, let's say this is your range here, right, on price. Think of it as just like price is doing something like this, where it came down, right? And then you sort of had like a fake up back into the ranges, right? Like that count right there at one given point, so on a smaller time frame at least, print to this, right? Because at one point, since like, you know, this obviously this wick is a lot lower than previous wicks, on a smaller time frame, on the 5 or on a 1 hour 30, whatever it is, you likely had like a little fake on a smaller time frame, and you came back into the ranges, right? So that's all that happened. You just close inside the ranges, and then price can hold below that support. Since the 1 hour candle closed respecting support, right? So since the smaller time frame couldn't hold support, it was just printing candles back into the ranges to fill the ranges. So then our entries will likely just be once you again break the smaller time frame, you have that smaller time frame breakout, but instead visually looking at it on a higher time frame would just be a wick entry or just be like a bottom wick for a next candle, whatever it is, right? So that's the rebreakout lows for you here. I'll say, yeah, so that's why earlier chat I had a line marked up around like 1914, 1912, because that's exactly where I was looking for price to tap before price made a decision, right? So that explains that. So yeah, it comes down to just like how news comes out here in about like an hour, and whether or not we can come down towards 1912. There's a possibility you may not come down 1912 before price makes its way back up. But that's fine as well, because even if price weren't to continue down towards there, we could get sells at like, I'll say, let's see. So for the sells might be a little different because let's see. Yeah, the sells might be a little different because there's a possibility that price could just fill the ranges at 27 without grabbing liquidity. Like if this were to happen, because you have a resistance here, right? So if we were to end up closing like this above the ranges, we were just making our way up above the ranges, right? Price has a grab liquidity before coming down. So look, I'm looking left here now. I'm looking to see where price can tap into. I'll probably wait for some type of ranges to be formed and support to be formed here, because if price were to close above its levels before making its way up, you're gonna see this before popping up, right? And you're gonna end up having something like this, some liquidity before driving up anyways. So the only sells that are possible in this range here is literally the bottom wick, right? Which I prefer not taking. I'd rather take just, again, the buys if this were to happen, rather than just take the sells for the pullback. For sells, like you're likely gonna need to fill the range first. So whenever that happens, like you need to fill the range, and then once you fill the ranges, you need to form some type of structure here. You get like the motion printing up here, right? And then all of a sudden you have a bearish candle like that, and then that's when you can take sells. Once you get like that structure and ranges printed, because then you have a range 1 here, range 2 here, and then you can take sells below 21, right? But the sells are gonna take, like, I'll say if sells were to happen today, it will probably be after 9 a.m. After 9 a.m., after 9:30. Unless news comes out and price dips down, right? If price dips down during news and it starts to rebreak below 1910, and you can see that 1910 isn't holding, then yeah, obviously you can look for sells then below, like, you know, wherever these levels are, below like 1904 or 1910 and such. But again, it gets very rough in these areas here, between 1912 and 1904. So if price were to push down for news, I'll hope that would just fly past those levels so that we can have clean traffic, sells below like 1904 or something. All right, chat. So that's what I got going on today. So if I were to market my charts here, basically I'll probably just put it as like strong support here at 1911, or 1910. Yeah, what is this? Put this here. Yeah, the reason why, like, I also want price to, like, I said, like, we won't get sells for a long time, for a while, because, like, again, we need to come up and tap actually into like 1920, like 4 first or something, that just the next resistance, right? Because if it were to drive down, it's got to clear ranges before driving down, right? It's got to grab liquidity before driving down. So the only way it can grab liquidity before driving down is if it comes up first, right? So if it comes up first, look left, where will it come up to? Probably like 1924 or something, right? So around 1924 and 1928, like that area there will be areas where you'll look for that range to print. And if that range doesn't print, and we just continue to drive up, then you're gonna see us tap 31, 32, right? So that's why I really want to see those levels get tapped first, so we can get that those ranges printed. But yeah, chat, this is my levels. So I got 1910 for support, current levels is 1915, resistance at 1921. This is the range that we're in, so not much we can do here, aside from just waiting for news. It'll be good, it'll be perfect if like the 1 hour candle can close like bullish here in 18 minutes, because if we can close bullish, this is how it's gonna look, right? And obviously this 1 hour candle is gonna be the news candle too. So if you were to come down and just flip bullish, it's gonna like, you know, it's gonna look something like this, right? That'll be the bottom wick. If price were to hold that support, obviously, because like, you know, if we hold like this support level, it means we're respecting the support. We're not closing below, right? And since we're still bullish, at any given point the candle can flip bullish after making a bottom wick. So yeah, that would be preferred, but the 4 count's starting to reflip too, so I want to see if you can just create a bottom wick here. It could be like entries around 1912 today or 1910, but it should be in that box there. How big are these stops below here? 5. Not bad. But yeah, chat, I didn't take any trades since yesterday. I wasn't on the charts since. I had no idea what happened during Asian or anything. Matt's just about to. It should be a pretty straightforward trade today.